Wait, sorry.
You can sit down.
Hello.
Hi, Sienna.
Hi, Sienna.
Do you want
What
to
up?
talk?
Hi.
She's a little shy.
I'm with Mimi.
You're with Mimir? Yeah?
Did you go swimming?
Yeah.
Who'd you go swimming with?
Mommy and Mimi and me.
That's right.
What up, y'all?
So, Zoe's
Yellow.
asking Sienna with one N or two? It's one N.
2.
One.
2.
She's disagreeing.
2.
Two.
3.
Three. No, there are no three N's in Sienna.
4.
3 N's. 3
Yeah, she's
N's.
just counting.
3 N's.
And 4 and 5, 6, 7, 8, 9,
Let's just
10.
see N. As many N's as you
Is
want.
this a math podcast?
How about 20
Nah,
N's?
nah.
Careful. No, don't play with the microphone.
I will miss my number.
That's odd.
Don't yell. Be quiet. No, don't turn off the mic. They can't hear you.
What up, y'all?
They are pretty. It's purple. You all done?
Bye.
Oh, she's saying bye.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks for joining us, Forbes.
That was a good
Thanks
showing.
for
Good
joining
job.
us.
Thank you, Lindsay. I'll have to go back and listen to that show to find out what the math was all about.
There was just, Zoe was asking how many N's in Sienna, and people ran with it, including Sienna.
Oh, okay. And but then Sienna kept yelling out numbers.
Right. She wanted more N's.
Hmm.
You can never have enough N's.
All right.
Well, hello,
Lindsay asks-
chat room.
Hello, chat room. Yes. If Lindsay asks what I want to eat for dinner, tell her I trust her advice.
Her judgment. Okay.
Yep. All right, it's probably time for roll call. We've got Kevin and Bruce about to be retired and just minutes away from it. We've got Frank from Japan and Mike and Jill from the Northwoods and Ron Hebe and Sandy and Seamus and Seamus has his actual name. That's crazy. And
Yeah.
Zoe, bringing in the bacon.
Let's see on the sidebar if anyone's here. Is Lynn
Lurking?
here? I don't see Lynn. I think that
All right,
may
I
be
did
it. If your name wasn't called, let us know.
Did I do audio playback? I
Not
actually
on
nailed the
Discord.
intro. I might keep it. Okay, here we go for Discord. Hi, this is Allison Sheridan of the NosillaCast podcast, hosted at podfeet.com, a technology geek podcast with an ever so slight Apple bias. Today is Sunday, September 28th, 2025, and this is show number 1064. And we have our first correction of the show. It's Ron Hybe. I will get that in my lifetime, Ron. I will get that right on my own. That day is not today, apparently. He's told me at least 28 times.
Yeah. All right. You heard it. Good. So I think the audio is good.
All right. Let's see.
Sounds
Can I
like
do
we're
that?
good to go.
Oh, I can do that. Okay, I love this screen. This. So I've got my 4K ViewSonic OLED.
You seem to be glowing red in the background. Are you okay back there?
That's my normal color.
It seems more red. Maybe it's just...
Does it? You know, it's a big white wall on the
Yeah,
background. so-
and closer, I think.
Yeah. I wish I could get... that is something, you know what? For Christmas, I want a smart light setup that actually lights up my back wall all red like this.
Okay.
That thrills you, huh?
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to start recording. Jill has a ton of lights like that. It's a smart one. Oh, Einstein. EI. Hybe. Yes. All right. Here we go. Last week, Nightwise joined me on Chit Chat Across the Pond. And in that discussion, you might remember we talked a little bit about presentation software, and I expressed my vehement dislike of both PowerPoint and Keynote. I will start that again. Who just brought that in here? Is that Sienna? Guess so. Here we go. Last week, Nightwise joined me on Chit Chat Across the Pond, and in that discussion, we talked a little bit about presentation software, and I expressed my vehement dislike of both PowerPoint and Keynote. Longtime listener Andy Dolph has been listening at least since 2012 that we can document, and he said in a little audio comment about what I said, disparaging presentation software. Andy has the best voice. We've been talking about having him on the show for 100 years, and I think it's actually going to happen soon. Here we go. I'm going to play what he said because then what I say will make some sense to you. Disparaging presentation software.
Hi, Allison. This is Andy from New Hampshire, and it's probably worth me saying that my background originally is in technical theater, and for the last 25 years has been in event production for a university, but it's...
Actually, I just realized his part is 7.5 minutes long, so I lied. You're not going to get to hear it. So he basically says that if you know what you're doing, you can make good presentations, and all these people just don't do it, don't use it right. And in it, he says it's like if you designed, there's nothing wrong with the tool. He says it's like if you designed a screwdriver and some people used it for like opening paint cans. And he says that's what's going on with these presentation software. I will counter that argument.
Huh. Where did this soapbox come from, and why am I standing on it? Oh, well.
So after Andy sent this in, he sent me another note saying that he hadn't heard all of the interview, and he later on heard us say much of what he had just said. I still love his perspective. I told him that I like his screwdriver analogy because I think it's actually perfect if you say it the other way around. Imagine you designed a tool to open paint cans, but almost everyone used it to turn screws. I think that's what's actually happening with charts. People, by and large, use them incorrectly and make them boring and terrible. I think Nightwise put it perfectly when he said something along the lines of, if your charts say what you're going to say, one of you is redundant, and only one of you can be an email attachment. Well, after Andy and I chatted a bit more via email, we decided it's high time for him to come on the show to tell us about his work because it sounds fascinating. We've talked about this for ages and ages and ages, but this time we've actually scheduled it in the new future, so we all have that to look forward to. Alrighty. A screwdriver that people are using to drill holes. Like, don't be so gentle. Thank you, Kevin. Drill holes.
Now, this next one is a little bit disparaging about some Apple software.
Uh-oh, it's an only ever so slight Apple bias, right?
Right.
All right.
So Lynn joined us, and I think Lindsay, the daughter, was grumpy. Was Mike here before?
Yeah, Mike's been here since the beginning.
Okay.
I could say Lindsay's got to buy the drinks, but she always buys us the drinks, so that would
Right.
be a little obvious, right?
Yes.
All right, here we go. This week, a woman on a user group message board I contribute to asked whether it was okay to update to iOS 26 or whether they should just apply the iOS 18.7 update and wait for a little longer for iOS 26. I advised her to wait, and I applauded her for noticing that there was a security update to 18.7. But some other people responded with basically saying, come on in, the water's fine. Now, don't get me wrong, iOS 26 isn't terrible, and I actually dig the new liquid glass interface. Sorry, Kaylee, I know it makes you physically ill, but I kind of like it. I love a fresh coat of paint, and I kind of enjoy the fun of discovery when developers move things around. The reason I suggest people wait is that I've run into quite a few bugs and poor decisions by Apple in iOS, although some of my friends say they haven't found any bugs at all. I thought I'd walk through just a few things that I've run across in the 2 days since this discussion occurred. First of all, I tried to open the TV app and it asked me for my Apple account password. I thought that was odd, but weirder yet, I couldn't switch to the 1Password app. I had to back out of the login screen, then open 1Password and copy the password. When I went back to the TV app, I tapped on my initials again, then on my name, and then the window popped up again, but it just blinked at me. Later on, I went back and I was able to access my content without any authentication request at all. I can't reproduce the error, but it was annoying nonetheless. Sorry, I'm having a throat clearing thing going that I don't think you want to listen to, so I'm going to stop and mute every once in a while here. Okay, here's another one. I took a photo with the camera app, and while holding the phone vertically, the preview of the image I was about to take flipped to landscape. I could not get it to flip back to portrait, even through repeated rotations of the phone. I ended up having to quit the camera app, and then go back in. I'm not talking about the selfie camera either, the thing that can let you take landscape or portrait images depending on the subjects in frame on the iPhone 17 Pro. This was all on the back camera. Again, it wasn't a showstopper, but it was buggy behavior. Now, the most annoying thing I've run across is probably not a bug, but rather, I think, a truly terrible choice on Apple's part. Many of my notification settings were changed when I upgraded to iOS 26. We have a lot of Eufy cameras in the house, and we have all of them in HomeKit. You can set HomeKit secure cameras to record and stream, or just stream, and you can have that mode change based on whether or not someone's home. We don't want them to record when we're home, as you can imagine, but we do like them to record when we're away. By default in HomeKit, each camera will tell us every time it changes mode from stream to record. I'm sorry. Again. By default in HomeKit, each camera will tell you every time it changes mode from stream to record and stream, and then tell you again when it switches back. For us, that's 8 notifications when the last of us leaves the home. When we get back into the geofence region, all 8 of them tell us that they've switched back to just streaming. And when I say us, I mean that I get those 16 notifications when both of us leave the house, and so does Steve. Well, ages ago, I went painstakingly into each camera's settings in HomeKit, which is a lot of menu taps, and I turned off notifications of mode changes on all except one. I do like to know that they've changed mode, but I don't need to know 8 times when I leave and 8 times when I come back. After Steve and I upgraded to all the new 26 operating systems, Apple changed all of the cameras in HomeKit back to notifying us of mode changes. Now, I can't tell you whether this is iOS or macOS, and I don't know if it was one of my devices that changed it or one of Steve's that changed it, but they all changed in the Home app for both of us. So yet again, I had to select a camera, tap on the gear for settings, tap on status and notifications, toggle off status change notifications, tap back, tap the X to close that camera, and then select the next camera 7 extra times. The only good news is that only one of us has to change the setting back to what we had before, and then it affects notifications for both of us. Now, Apple also enabled audio readouts of notifications to my headphones. I absolutely never want this. I do like a tap on the wrist to see notifications on my Apple Watch, like telling me that the dining room Eufy has changed to record since I'm away, but I do not want to hear it. Before I spent that quality time with HomeKit putting the toggle back the way it was, 16 times on every walk, my podcast was being interrupted. The first time iOS 26 decided to read me a notification into my headphones, it was a spam text message that it had correctly filed under unknown senders. Why on earth would I want to hear that if I don't even want to read it? Finding out how to disable this feature was a real adventure. I looked in iOS settings, notifications, but it wasn't there. I was doing a workout, so I thought maybe it was related to that, but workout and activity don't have any audio notification settings. Guess where it is? No, really, guess. Not in a million years would I have found this one on my own. I confess that I had to take to AI to find it for me. It's in Settings, Apple Intelligence and Siri, Announced Notifications. In there, you'll find a toggle for announced notifications, but there are 2 sub-toggles, one for headphones and one for CarPlay. I don't want to announce notifications on headphones, but I do want them announced for CarPlay. Why on earth did they bury this in Apple Intelligence and Siri? It just doesn't make any sense to me. Now, they also re-enabled audio notifications on workouts, which I disabled years ago. I don't want to hear my split pace every mile and all that nonsense, but finding where to shut this one off was even harder. I looked under Apple Intelligence and Siri's announced notifications first, but it wasn't there. If you go to apps under the top level of settings, workouts aren't listed, so I didn't find it there. Under settings, notifications, watch, there is an announced notifications, which I've turned on, but only for time-sensitive notifications. Pretty sure split pace is not time-sensitive. And they also forgot the hyphen between time and sensitive, which is just upsetting by itself. Okay, maybe it's in the Watch app on iPhone. There's a section for notifications, but it doesn't have anything about voice versus showing a notification on the Watch screen. Activity within the Watch app does have allow notifications, but again, there's nothing about speaking them out loud into my headphones. Again, I resorted to asking AI, and I may have found it. In the Apple Watch app on iPhone, workout, voice feedback is on. Underneath it says Siri can read out your workout alerts. If this is turned off, Workout Buddy can still make announcements about your workouts. I've toggled it off, and fingers crossed, I think I've killed this new annoyance. Now, I later found the same toggle under Settings, App, Settings, Apps, Fitness, Announce Notifications. I had originally looked for workouts and activity. It's really helpful, that Apple has kind of 3 different names for essentially the same thing. Now, I would be surprised if Apple intentionally changed all of these notifications to defaults, overriding the intentional changes that I had made to them. And yet, it also doesn't feel like a bug. Maybe there was some switch in the vast array of switches that someone forgot to set to leave this the way it was. All right. Search in the iOS calendar app also seems to be struggling. I've tried to search for several things in the past and future that I can't seem to find, or it can't seem to find, I should say. For example, for every birthday I want to track, I have a repeating calendar event that says something like Teddy BD, and they all say BD in them in capital letters. It's probably 20 people I have as repeating calendar events with BD in the title of the calendar event. Searching for BD finds exactly 0 of them. Now, I know Apple limits how far forward and back it searches on iOS, but there's a birthday coming up in less than a month, and iOS Calendar cannot find it. I'm running macOS 26 as well, and Calendar easily finds the birthday entries on Tahoe. If I search for something like PBS, it finds all of my future Programming by Stealth recordings with Bart. I search for Peru because someone I know is going there, and that's in my calendar, but it couldn't find that either. I searched for CCATP for Chit Chat Across the Pond, and it found my next scheduled time with Adam Angst. I haven't been able to find a pattern to what it can find. Now that I think about it, those are shared events, but the birthdays might be too. Anyway, I haven't been able to find a common thread between these and what it can't find. Intermittent problems are the worst because it's hard to report the bug if it is a bug. Now, breaking news. After I wrote this article, the lovely Norbert posted in our Slack that he had the same search problem in Calendar, but he solved it by turning it off and on again. But settings, apps, calendar, toggled off show content in search, and then he toggled it on again. And I have to say, this fixed iOS search for me too. I forget who posted a follow-up. There was somebody on Mastodon wrote back to me about this, and some people have been able to get this to fix it, and some people haven't. So it does look like it's a little more widespread and perhaps officially a bug. Now, if I go into Find My, actually, I want to give a better pause. All right, let's see what's next. Oh, if I go into Find My and I look for any of my devices, there's a settings icon inviting me to tap it. I can tap it, but nothing happens. Steve tried it on his phone and it doesn't do anything for him either. Now, it's possible this one isn't a bug. Probably not, actually, because below the settings the settings gear and the word settings, it says erase and remove. So maybe this settings gear thingy is just a title for the 2 options below. If it's not a bug, I think it's bad UI, because everywhere else in the universe of Apple, when you see that gear, it means tap me. I'm going to take you to some settings. So I think it's poor UI. All right, my single favorite bug/feature of iOS 26 is a banner I keep getting at the top of my home screen on my phone that shows Steve's avatar, and it says he's connected. Connected to what? I don't know. I don't know what it's telling me he's connected to. If I tap on the banner, it opens Steve's contact card with no explanation. The only action I can take at this point is to select the edit button for his contact card. I should note that it appears to be Steve's contact card as seen on his phone, not mine. The font is different, and my version says emergency contact when I open it. I'm kind of tempted to edit something on it and seeing if it changes on his phone. Maybe not, but I don't know. It's still very confusing. But the biggest problem is if I do tap on the banner and I see his contact card, I can't get out of it. There's no back button, no close button, and I can't swipe down, up, left, or right to get out of that screen. The only way I make it go away is to hit the power button on the phone. When I wake the phone up, the screen and the pop-up are both gone. Until the next time it happens. I think it's happened 3 times so far. I put the image of the pop-up into ChatGPT to see what it might be. It guessed that it was a proximity or sharing banner for AirDrop, NameDrop, or SharePlay. Not a bad guess, but all of those require you to have close proximity. This has been happening when Steve's on the other side of the house and downstairs and I'm upstairs, and he's not even touching his phone or his computer. The other problem is that I've seen AirDrop, NameDrop, and SharePlay banners before, and they don't look like this banner. Now, Richard Piazza responded on Mastodon to my request for ideas of what this might be. He asked if it might be Steve's phone connecting to my phone's hotspot. I used his phone to try to do that manually, and it created a pop-up on my phone showing his request, not the banner that I'm seeing that shows he's already connected. It remains a mystery, and I wish it would stop. The bottom line is that when I'm asked if it's okay to install iOS 26, I suggest waiting just a smidge until the weirdness slows down. It's not terrible, and so far I haven't had any permanent showstoppers, but to pretend it's a bug-free experience would be disingenuous. There we go.
So, no, you don't like my connection.
Oh. Thank you, Kevin. Somebody else had a good joke in on Mastodon about it. I forget what it was. Alrighty then. Oh. I was just thinking of going to get my purse and getting my 2 sets of headphones.
Do you want me to go get that?
I think it's right in the hallway, or it's hard for you to take those headphones off, isn't it?
No.
Are you sure?
I'll go get it. Yeah.
Okay. I will entertain the audience. Did I miss anything in chat? Oh, we're talking about cars. Good. You find bugs in places I never go. Oh, it worked for you too, Sandy. Good. Oh, do you think it was just repeating events? No, but it finds Chit Chat Across the Pond. Huh. That's weird. VeraCrypt? What is VeraCrypt, Ron? Hybe? Rhymes with Einstein? All right, let's see. Tried that calendar for, oh wait, that's the same. Ron is typing. Get here. All right. Might as well have show and tell. So I'm going to be talking about AirPods Pro versus Beats Fit Pro. Software package allows one to create an encrypted container that can be mounted as a virtual hard drive. What is it I use to do that? Logical successor to TrueCrypt. All right, you wired up, Steve?
Yes.
Okay. I thought I use something like a compressor. I did a Screencast Online video about it. Yeah, probably not quite worth it for you, Sandy. But I did find out something interesting about it. I should mention that. All right. In December 2016, when the very first AirPods came out, Steve bought me a pair as a surprise. They work great, and I documented my excitement with an article entitled Apple AirPods, Bluetooth with Less Fiddling? In March 2019, I bought the second generation AirPods because why not? Well, just a few months later, in November of 2019, I upgraded to a pair of AirPods Pro. And in my article entitled AirPods Pro, Worthy Upgrade from AirPods 2? I was fairly bullish on the fit. And there's even a section in the article where Steve reports that he was able to wear the AirPods Pro without them falling out of his ears. I'm not quite sure why we were so confident that they were a great fit for both of us, because as time wore on, we both agreed that they did not stay in our ears, especially in Steve's. In February 2021, I tried the ChargeN Airfoam's Proactive Ear Tips, wrote an article about that too, to replace Apple's ear tips. They seemed to make me happy when I wrote the article, but eventually the AirPods Pro would still slowly squirt out of my ears. In March 2021, I tried adding the ChargeN rubber ear hooks, which worked well enough, but I had to take them on and off every time I put them in the charger, which got really tedious. Finally, in January 2022, I found the perfect solution. I replaced the AirPods Pro with the Beats Fit Pro. For over 3.5 years, the Beats Fit Pro have stayed in my ears because they have built-in flanges that keep the earbuds in my ears. Steve has a pair too, and they work great for him. I do find on occasion that sometimes the flanges wriggle a little bit loose, but it's pretty rare that the buds actually fall out, and I just kind of poke them back in. Now, each year when Apple announces they've improved AirPods Pro to fit more people's ears, I'm tempted to try them again. But up until this year, I've resisted that temptation. This year, they really sold me when they said, utilizing over 10,000 ear scans with more than 100,000 hours of user research, AirPods Pro 3 are the most secure and best-fitting AirPods ever. To deliver this improved fit for even more people, the internal architecture was completely re-engineered to make each AirPod smaller, while the external geometry of the ear tip was aligned to the center of the body for increased stability. A design informed by an unparalleled data set of more than 300 million points. And with new foam-infused ear tips that come in 5 sizes, including a new XXS size, AirPods Pro 3 deliver an exceptional in-ear fit. Now, you start talking center of gravity with me and you've got me hooked. I do feel a little bit like maybe I'm Charlie Brown with Lucy and the football, but maybe this time they would fit and not squirt out of my ears. So, let's ask ourselves the correct question, though. What problem are you trying to solve, Allison? Well, I'm glad you asked. In no particular order. The Beats Fit Pro case is USB-C, but it doesn't have wireless charging. For the most part, that's not really an issue. When I go out for one of my endless walks, when I remove my earbuds, I charge the case via USB-C right where I take them off. I'm very good at habitual repetitive tasks, like putting out a podcast every single week for 20 years. So I very rarely find myself with uncharged headphones as a result. Now, when I'm on travel, I'm quite fond of the Anker MagGo wireless charging station that Sandy reviewed for us, and that has MagSafe for iPhone, magnetic puck charging for the Apple Watch, and wireless charging for AirPods. If I had AirPods Pro, I could charge everything without hunting down another cable and charger for my headphones when I'm on travel. Not a huge deal, but a nice to have. All right, let's see. What's my next excuse for spending money? Noise cancellation is quite good on the Beats Fit Pro, but Apple sure made some big claims on how much better it is with AirPods Pro 3. There are those who would suggest that I shouldn't use noise cancellation when I'm walking, but where I live, ice cars, trucks, leaf blowers, weed whackers, and construction equipment are my constant companions. Now, people talk about the transparency mode on AirPods Pro as though it's magical. On Beats Fit Pro, I find it highly annoying. It's like having active noise cancellation, except then letting through the most annoying high-frequency sounds. I've wondered whether AirPods Pro have a completely different method of producing transparency mode. Now, AirPods Pro have been improved over the years to include cool features like lowering the volume when you start talking to someone and allowing more sound to come through and increasing volume when something louder is happening nearby. I wanted these new features. Let's see, I may not need live translation day to day, but Steve and I do travel quite a bit, so it could be useful on our trips. We've booked a trip to Finland next year and one to Spain, Portugal, and Ireland, so I may need this feature soon. I've also been very curious about the hearing aid feature in AirPods Pro, not because I have hearing loss, but because I'm curious about the technology. It bothers me that there's a stigma to wearing normal hearing aids as we age. Like, why isn't there the same stigma around wearing glasses? Any technology that makes it less expensive and more fashionable to have improved hearing is a win. Now, the new heart rate sensing from AirPods Pro 3 sounds pretty cool, but to be honest, I never move about without my Apple Watch, so I don't know, it'd be fun to test. Over the past 3.5 years, I've been kept hoping that these nifty new features would come to Beats Fit Pro, but in all that time, there hasn't been a single hardware or software update to them. All of these transparently obvious justifications caused me to buy yet another pair of AirPods Pro. All right, let's ask ourselves, how well do they fit? I've been wearing them on my daily long walks for a little over a week now, and so far I haven't had any problem with them staying in my ears. I hesitate to say that because I've lied to you so many times in the past, as documented earlier. When I first tried them on, they were a 100% no-go. I immediately swapped out the medium ear tips for the extra small tips. I found that if I really cram them in and then twist them so the stems point forward a bit away from my face, they do stay firmly in place. As of the time I wrote this, I've walked about 30 miles in the first 5 days I had them, and they've yet to fall out on a walk. I wore them on a plane ride too, and they were quite comfortable for the few hours I wore them. Now let's talk active noise cancellation. I had both my Beats Fit Pro and my shiny new AirPods Pro 3 on the plane ride back, and I figured this was a great opportunity to compare the active noise cancellation, or you'll see it written out as ANC. I swapped them back and forth a few times to judge each set's ability to cancel the tedious drone of the jet engines. I'd love to report back that the AirPods 3 were astonishingly better, but to be perfectly honest, I don't know, I couldn't really tell the difference. They're both good. And since they're both good, remember I reported about a year ago, both Steve and I find that the wired Bose headphones that we bought over a decade ago still did a better job of removing the plane noise on our long flights than the Beats Fit Pro. I wrote an article about that that's linked in the show notes as well. Now, we have another short trip planned in November. With any luck, I'll remember to pack all 3 sets and do a full comparison. By then, nobody but me is going to care, but I'm still curious to compare the different technologies. Now let's talk wireless charging. I did get a chance to test out charging the AirPods 3 case while on travel using my Anker Mag Go charger thanks to Sandy. Steve and I travel so much, we've perfected packing of cables and other chargers. One that I don't leave home without is my beloved Retro 67 from Charge Geek with 3 USB-C ports and a tiny block that looks like a little original Mac. Now, wireless charging's never been a huge priority for me, but being able to just plug one cable into the Charge Geek Retro 67 and charge my iPhone, Apple Watch, and now my AirPods Pro 3 is pretty cool. Necessary? No, but the simplicity is appealing, especially for travel. Day to day, though, when I leave on my walks, there's a USB-C cable sitting right there ready to charge the case. However, before a recent walk, I was reaching for the USB-C cable and I realized I also had an Apple Watch charger puck sitting right next to it. I had some vague memory of hearing you could charge AirPods on the Apple Watch charger, and you know what? It worked. Might be just enough easier to slap the case down on the Apple Watch charger than it is to find the hole to plug in USB-C. Time will tell. Now let's talk live translation. My first experiment to test live translation was a complete failure, and I'm going to tell you the story because I had a fundamental misunderstanding of how it works. I called my friend and yours, Pat Dengler, on a FaceTime call, and I asked her to speak French to me. Yes, just like the original Addams Family's Gomez to Morticia. Speak French to me, chérie. Anyway, in the FaceTime interface in iOS 26, there's a translation button. But when I tapped it, nothing happened. Pat said when she tested live translation, she used AirPods Pro 3 earlier to listen to French President Macron speaking at the United Nations, and to do that, she used the standalone translation app to access live translation. While still on the FaceTime call with Pat, I launched the standalone translation app, but it wouldn't start translating. When I selected live translation, the interface would pop up on screen and instantly disappear. Well, I hung up on Pat and I opened a web browser to Patrick Beja's Le Rendezvous Tech podcast. And while I could clearly hear him speaking in French over the AirPods, opening live translation didn't work there either. I then found Macron's speech to the UN on YouTube, figuring she was able to do it with that one. And I heard him speaking French in my left ear and a woman's voice speaking English in my right ear. That was a little bit odd, so I removed the left AirPod and they gave me just the English translation in my right. I was very excited I'd figured out how this had worked. But you know what? I was suspicious. How could this be live translation? I hadn't done anything to invoke it, and the translation was so good and so fast. There should have been a delay, and this seemed instantaneous. I tested my theory that this wasn't live translation by speeding the video up to 2x. Sure enough, I could hear the translated English voice speaking just as rapidly as Macron in French. I suspect I've stumbled across a really cool YouTube feature where they pipe the translation to the right channel and the original to the left, and it had nothing to do with live translation. I explained to Steve how I wasn't able to get live translation to work, and he cracked the code. I bet most of you are yelling at your phones right now because you all know what I was doing wrong. In every test I ran, I was piping the audio into AirPods over Bluetooth. But Live Listen is designed to let you talk to a human in meat space and translate the audio to your language. That means live translation has to be listening to the microphones on the AirPods, not through Bluetooth. It took a fiddling and a third device to be able to test this, but I finally heard and saw live translation in action. I connected my AirPods to my phone, but I played Patrick Beja's Le Rendezvous Tech from the speakers of my MacBook Air so the AirPods could hear it. On my iPhone, I launched live translation, selected French, and as soon as Patrick and his guests began to speak, I could hear the translation in English in my ears, as well as see the original French and the English translation on the iPhone. You can turn off the original language if you like and just see the translation. I'd call it a success, now that I understand how it works. The one thing that was disappointing was that live translation doesn't let you save the transcription of your conversation. As soon as you tell it to stop translating, it goes back to the start screen for the live translation app. Imagine you stopped someone and asked them for directions. They gave you this detailed set of instructions, and as soon as you walked away, the directions were gone. This seems like something they could and should add in the future. The only way I figured out how to save it was to start a video recording of my screen before starting the translation. I was talking to a friend of mine today, actually, and he travels to Japan often. His wife is Japanese, and he talked about how he's got these in-laws of his that he can't ever talk to because he doesn't speak Japanese very well. And they sat down a phone and turned on ChatGPT on the the version where you get audio, and it translated. They were able to talk back and forth using ChatGPT. So I tested it with this gentleman's wife today, and it worked pretty well. She was kind of shy and wouldn't talk very much, so we didn't get a lot out of it. But I think if you want to get live translation, you can probably already do it with the paid version of ChatGPT on your iPhone. All right, got a couple little follow-up things at the end here. The Beats Fit Pro have one big advantage over AirPods Pro 3, and that's they have a physical button you push to play pause to do other functions. With the AirPods Pro 3, you have to squeeze to play pause. Now, you might want to ask why that's an important distinction. If I'm doing dishes or doing something else where my hands are not available to pause my headphones, with BeatFits Pro, I can easily tilt my head to one side and raise my shoulder up to push the button. Sounds like a clumsy gesture, but it's really quite easy. I do it all the time. Now, the case for AirPods Pro 3 is significantly smaller than the Beats Fit Pro case. I really like to keep my purse as minimalist as possible, so I appreciate the smaller size. The Beats Fit Pro case is much taller and thicker than the AirPods Pro case. I also appreciate that I can use Find My with the case for AirPods Pro. The earbuds themselves for Beats Fit Pro respond to Find My, but not the case. To be fair, losing a bud is more common than losing the case and the buds. When you first select your AirPods Pro 3 in Find My, it will show you the case, the left bud, and the right bud as three separate items to find. I selected one bud, and I got a notification pop-up that said it could only play sound if I turned on Bluetooth. Well, Bluetooth was already on, and my phone was already connected to the AirPods. I tried a few more times, and then it would at least try to play a sound from the selected bud. In repeated tests, I had inconsistent success in playing sound out of a single bud. The first time, it never worked. Just spun, telling me it would do it when it could find the device, which was sitting right next to me. The next time I tried, after many, many minutes, it did finally start working. In my final test, it worked immediately. I don't know if it was just having trouble finding them, and it wasn't until the last test that it actually knew where they were or what was going on. After all those tests trying to get the AirPod Pro 3's buds to make a sound, that sound is so quiet coming out of the earbuds, I'm not sure playing sound would be all that helpful anyway. If you dropped them on the desk next to you or maybe in the couch cushions, you'd be able to hear them. Overall, I recommend losing your AirPods Pro in the case rather than losing the individual buds because the case makes plenty of noise when you ping it. Within Find My for AirPods Pro, you have the option to declare your accessory as lost and have your phone number and a brief message displayed. Now, let's think about that. I know how that works on an iPhone or an iPad because they have a display. Where does it display it with AirPods Pro if somebody finds them? Maybe it pops up on the finder's phone? I don't know. Curiously, for both AirPods Pro and Beats Fit Pro in Find My, there's a settings button that doesn't do anything at all. I double-checked this on Steve's phone, also running iOS 26, and his settings button in Find My for its Beats Fit Pro doesn't do anything either. Maybe it's another one of these buttons that's not really a button? I don't know. Well, the bottom line is unclear. I'm tempted to say that I'll be switching to the AirPods Pro 3 from Beats Fit Pro, and that Apple have finally solved the fit problem for me. But you've heard me say that before, and I don't want to be a liar again. But I can say they fit me better than all of the previous models, and they're more comfortable than any of the previous models of AirPods Pro. The jury's still out on whether they're a better fit than Beats Fit Pro for me, but I got to tell you, for now, I'm fairly happy. Except Beats Fit Pro come in this really pretty stone purple, and I really like it. I don't want them to be white. Maybe I'll get a skin or something to make it purple.
So Sandy calls that color orchid.
Yeah, I went and looked it up, and it's called stone purple.
Stone cold purple.
Stone cold. I used to call it lavender.
You're staying with those? Yeah, You're staying with those for your walks still?
So far. Yeah.
All right.
I mean, not sure there's an advantage. The wireless charging's fun. All right. Let's see.
Well, I like the fact that, I'm still on the Beats Fit Pro, and once they switched over to supporting, I don't know what the term would be called, where you can play audio from an Apple TV directly to the earbuds. Oh, once they did that, I was sold on Beats Fit Pro.
Yeah, I'm assuming that works on the AirPods Pro.
It's got to work. I mean, that's one of their integration advantages.
Yeah, I am the beneficiary of Steve doing that because he watches the worst television. There's always somebody screaming. It's disgusting. There's a murder, mayhem. Yeah. It's just awful.
There's a great new series called Alien Earth that not for Allison.
It's the chewing. The chewing.
No, there's not a lot of chewing there. Well, maybe some munching.
I believe I walked in and somebody was hanging dead from the ceiling and all bloody.
Let's keep this clean.
All right. Yeah, we don't quite have the same taste. I'm like over here watching Doogie Howser or something. All right. Thank you for the save, Kevin. Well, it's time to thank our longtime sponsors of the work we do here at the Podfeet Podcast. As you hear me list those who signed up through Patreon in 2022, close your eyes, well, unless you're driving or running, walking, or otherwise moving about, but close your eyes and imagine how warm and fuzzy you'll feel when your name is read out in the Hall of Fame after pledging at podfeet.com/Patreon. Okay, ready? Ready? Have that warm and fuzzy feeling? In 2022, we have Bill, Ed, Dex, Scott, Peter, and George. Thank you all so much for your support. Whoops. I put in chit chat and it should be security bits.
So Sandy's asking 2022. You mean that's when they started contributing?
Yeah. I guess I wasn't clear on that, was I? I figure people have been listening for a while to the previous ones.
Yeah, that's kind of what you've been doing, right? The year they start.
Yeah. Dokey. Some security bits here.
What?
What's wrong?
Oh, I see. Never mind.
Okay.
Had the wrong link.
There. Option T. Option T. Do you want to hear a plink?
You bet. Hold on. Wait.
Okay.
I got to see the plink too.
Shh.
Okay.
I'm talking.
Blink.
Very precise.
I did one with Adam and he said ping. Got his own style. Right there. So we'll get rid of me. And we'll get rid of him. And we'll do this. Oh, I hope you can't hear Kepler. Kepler's sick. He's got a horrible cough. And we don't know why. Had all kinds of tests done for him. That's on the wrong track. Too far. This was supposed to be down here. Okay. Both of these. Slide those over like there, maybe. All right, let's give a listen here. Thank you all so much for your support. Well, it's that time of the week again. It's time for Security Bits with Bart Bruce Schatz. How you doing today, Bart?
I am doing good. Even though it is October. No, not quite, but nearly. It's been a gorgeous day. I've been out on the bike. It's been lovely. So yay,
And
while it lasts.
We are very excited to have discovered that we will never, in this particular time frame, go through 8 hours apart, 7 hours apart, 8 hours apart, like we normally do twice a year. We happen to just skip over it the way it works. So, yeah, yay, because it makes it
Yes.
hard.
Oh my god, it's hard enough to coordinate being 8 hours different, but when you throw in the whole wibbly wobbly, did you go to daylight savings time? Did we? Oh,
Which way did it go? Forward, back? Yeah,
well, that too. Yeah.
right. Well, we should get stuck in. We've got a brewery to go here down in San Diego, so we're gonna be brisk about our security bits. But then I'll probably ask a bunch of questions anyway and make it take forever.
Okay, well, let's have a go anyway. A few little fun.
All right, there we go. I am going to keep moving us along
So,
here.
how did you skip over the misalignment in time zones with Bart?
We do it on one weekend, and then there's a weekend we don't. So we change on a Sunday. Actually, wait a
Oh,
minute.
it's because you had a longer than 2 week duration between recordings or something?
Actually, I got to be lying about that, don't I? I think I'm wrong.
I think so.
Let me look.
That's all right. We don't have to fix that.
No, we have to decide it right now.
Breaking
So,
news
Europe changes on the 26th.
of October?
Oh yeah, we totally
October or September?
October 20. Yeah, that's October, right? No, yeah, October 26th.
And we go November
yeah, no,
2nd.
I just lied to him.
No, that's 1 week apart. October
No, but
26th.
On October 26th, we record security bits at 10:30 in the morning, my time.
Ah.
I lied to him.
Oh, no. Well, you only have to do it once.
Now, where does the U? Oh, and then the U.S. does it
November
on
2nd.
the 2nd. I lied to him.
Don't get hung up on it. You're fine.
No,
It was
no,
an
I've gotta-
unintentional lie, so you're good.
Yeah, I know. I'm a liar about everything.
You are lying a lot, though.
All right, we're gonna.
You might check your morals at the door.
What you have to do, stay patched so you stay secure.
You got the audio. What do you call that? Audio
Yeah. He calls it an audio icon.
icon. Yes.
Yeah.
Stay patched so you stay secure.
Well, as Kevin says in the live chat room, liar, liar, pants on fire. I just went back. Actually, Steve asked in the live chat room, how on earth we managed to not get messed up with the time zones, with the time changing in the two different regions? And I went and looked it up, and I lied to Bart. We're definitely going to get hit with this. So nobody tell him. We'll just leave that to a little discovery of his own. But anyway, that is going to wind us up for this week. Did you know you can email me at allison@podfeed.com anytime you like? I love to get emails from people. If you have a question or a suggestion, just send it on over. And remember, everything good starts with podfeed.com. You can follow me on Mastodon at podfeed.com/Mastodon, where I'm pretty darn active. If you want to listen to the podcast on YouTube, you could go to podfeed.com/YouTube. If you want to join the conversation, you could join our Slack community at podfeed.com/Slack. Go in there and talk to me and all the other lovely NosillaCastaways. It's just active enough, you know? It's not a lot of chatter, but just enough chatter. You could support the show, like our 2022 and forward patrons, by going to podfeed.com/Patreon. If you want to do a one-time donation, go to podfeed.com/donate. You can Apple Pay or a credit card, whatever you like. No account required. Or you can go through podfeed.com/PayPal if you're of that persuasion. And if you want to join in the fun of the live show, we had Sienna and Forbes on the live show today. I mean, you just can't beat having a 5-year-old and a 9-year-old on the show. Head on over to podfeed.com/live on Sunday nights at 5 p.m. Pacific time and join the friendly and enthusiastic NosillaCastaways. Thanks for listening and stay subscribed. Forbes is 9, right? I
Yep.
didn't get that wrong.
You got that right.
All right.
Sienna loved the call out.
Did she? Oh, good. Good. They are on.
And 4B.
Ian Forby. Good. She's famous. All right. What's our chapter count, Steve?
Oh, I'm falling behind here. Hold on. I didn't realize I had another job. Or I forgot I did. So no blog post for Andy, right?
Right, but it's still a chapter mark.
4. I see 4
There's 5.
chapter marks. What?
Counting Andy.
Oh, you did? Oh, I see.
I said it's a chapter mark. It's not
Got
a
it.
blog post.
Then I agree. 5.
Which is why I was careful to word it that way. Anybody know who said that?
I think that's Brian Regan, isn't
It
it?
is Brian Regan.
Yeah, one of our favorite comedians. He's not doing as much stuff lately, I think.
Probably our favorite comedian. I don't think we have to.
Probably. Yeah, it's just that he's not current anymore. I think he kind of relies on his old material.
We say it over and over again.
Oh, we cite his stuff all the time. That and Young Frankenstein.
What is Kevin Dino Express?
So he thinks that the kids need a train set
Train set. Ah,
for $267.
yikes. You know who would like that is Teddy. Teddy's all about
Teddy
the
would love
dinosaurs.
that, yeah. It's an O gauge. Is
Maybe
O
Uncle Kevin can buy our grandkids presents.
I don't know if a 3-year-old should have an O gauge train.
Yeah, it seems a
That's
smidge
a bit
early.
young.
Frankenstein.
Thank you,
There you
Seamus.
go.
Well said.
Yes, uncles are responsible for buying noisy presents. Well, Sienna and Forbes have a drum set, and I remember I sent. You've heard me talk about David Roth a lot on the show, and I sent him a video of the two of them just going to town on this. I think Sienna was on the drums and just banging away like crazy, and Forbes was playing like a kazoo or something. I forget what he was playing, but it was so freaking loud. And I sent it to David Roth, who has intentionally not had children of his own. And all he wrote back was, "Thank you for affirming my life choices."
It's a good statement.
Oh, he's so funny. I love
What were those crazy wind-blown instruments at the Olympics or World Cup down in Brazil?
Oh, Zuzuvelas?
Zuzuvela?
Vuvuzelas.
Vuvuzelas, yeah. We should get them a couple of those.
Ooh, that would be mean. I thought we should
It plays
send those to
music and
Kevin.
roars.
Well, I am starting the upload, so
All
we
right.
may lose all upload bandwidth here.
All right. Well, we
Start breaking
should let the chat room go.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us. Lovely to see you all.
Yes.
Bye.
Appreciate y'all coming. Have a great week.
It was fun.